Content warning. The following show contains excessive tobacco smoking, potty mouth language, possible potty mouth language, discussions of things that might be considered hot takes, but they're more reflections of personal experience, and of course, a few things that might make some people feel uncomfortable. But we promise you, none of you are outright under attack. Some of you might just be being seen, but we believe in community here at Back on the Deck. Either way, viewer discretion is advised. Well, you laid it on kind of thick there, didn't you? Yeah, I did. It's Friday. Why not? Anyway, let's start the music. Yeah, start the music seems good. So why haven't you started the music yet? Oh, I was just waiting to see if you noticed. Of course you were. To the dark side. This is the show where we talk about a great number of things. Life, gaming, nerding. Because we're nerds. Lots and lots of nerding. Oh, so much nerding. And of course, oh god, what is it? Remind me later. Okay? Remind me later. The ass manager. So go around here. Alright. And of course, the place where we come to book, because I'm all about you. I really am all about you. So, with all of that being said, let us get to stuff. I gotta say, we're talking about a lot of things, and I'm waiting for my coffee to brew, and all that stuff. So, welcome, guys. What I will say is this. I really appreciate you guys being here. I really do. And I want to say what's up to all my ride or dies and all that stuff. And we got a few new folks. So, hello, apricots. How's it going? Or should I say apricots? Hello, Samuel. And, the sound stranger man is back. Oh, well, let's hope you're feeling a little bit better. And, of course, if you guys got any questions or comments or anything like that you want to throw at me or want me to consider and all of that jazz, it's really simple, guys. Really. All you gotta do, hang on. That's better. All you gotta do is open up your keyboard and type in back on the deck at gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also reach out to me over on over on my Twitter. That's my ex. And you can totally reach out on Instagram and most of the social medias. And if you are a part of that wretched hive of scum and villainy known lovingly and affectionately as Facebook, well, all you gotta do is join Deckers on the Book. That is our open to the world Discord server, because honestly, I really don't like a lot of stuff being stuck behind paywalls. That's really one of my big things. And we got some fun stuff to do. We're going to be talking about a few things. I want to talk about content creation. And I also want to talk about a few things. And we're going to do some kind of fun craft stuff because it's Friday and it's, what is the term? It's like casual Friday. Hey, what's going on, Sofa King? You know, you really are the king of living room furniture. That's what I have to say. Because I try not to go too potty mouth on here, although I fail. I fail so hard sometimes. But, let's see, what else do we got going? Oh, yes, we've got a few things going, such as this is the time that I look at you guys and I'm like, okay, if you guys like what we have to say and, you know, talking with us and being part of our community brings some sort of value into your life, then do us a favor, like a real solid. Okay, I am on a tear right now to upgrade my equipment and to try and do some really cool stuff. I was going to have a preview for you guys, but I'm like, you know what? You guys should log into my TikTok later on tonight because I have been feeling a thing. But if you guys get any value out of the stuff that we're doing, I just put right here, right now, or should I say right here, right now, a few ways that you could help us out with our donation thing. If you're just up for buying me a cup of coffee, I ain't gonna complain. Hey, thank you so much, M10, my dungeon master. 15 months in a row. It has been a thing, hasn't it, bud? And yeah, so if you're just up for donating, or you guys can do exactly what M10 did and subscribe to the channel. He subscribed with his money because he's rolling like that. I see him rolling, subscribing. Maybe because he knows that he's white and nerdy, because he is so white and nerdy. And I'm friends with white and nerdy. And it's cool, I'm black and nerdy, because we're all just really nerdy. And of course, but if you ain't rolling like that, use Jeff Bezos' money, man. You guys can totally subscribe with your Amazon Prime account. And we got merch and all that stuff. So just hit any of the links. Maybe get yourselves a hoodie because it's cold. Oh my God, it is so cold. It's so funny. People look at me and they're like, dude, how many turtlenecks do you have? And I'm like, 10. And they're like, doesn't that suck in July? I'm like, yeah, but it is great. From November to March. Okay, that's what I'm saying on that. And yeah, so there's all of that. Oh my God, I didn't put any sugar in this. What is up with me? Because I need the sugar. All right. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. I recently went through a major financial thing that really sucked out everything I have. So this is where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so just, I'm so begging. I'm begging everybody all the time because almost lost my place to live over Christmas and I can't let that happen anymore. So now I gotta be like so many other streamers and YouTubers and all that stuff. And you know, oh, by the way, you could, if you were so inclined, subscribe to us over on YouTube. Okay, now this is a really big one because I am on a quest. Walking down the road today, doo-dah, doo-dah. I am on a quest to get up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of February, and I am working on so much content to make that a thing. So seriously, guys, be part of the HBO thing. I know if you guys are already paying for HBO Max, or as they call it, Max, now be a part of the other HBO. Help a brother out and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Leave a thumbs up and tell me that I'm full of crap. I don't care if you comment angrily, you know, please engage. Also, that's some of the stuff that we're doing. Now, when we get back, oh, yeah, we've been running a commercial. Isn't that fun? Did not even notice because it is out of my control. But since we just ran a commercial, I want to say what is up to 250 Mike. And guess what, bro? It's Friday. Yeah, just got paid. It's Friday night. I'm singing too much. But with that, I am going to feature you, my friend, because you have done the thing in the Discord that I love. Okay, love, 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 because all I need is love and more subscribers. So, when one of the ride or dies get here, they will be leaving an invitation to the Discord server, so that you guys can do what this guy just did. Because yeah, in our creations tab on our on our Discord, we have some painting. Oh my god, like, I knew you were a modeler, dude, but I did not know that you were this good. That thing looks amazing. And when I say amazing, I mean amaze all the way across the board. That is some really good stuff. Yeah, some seriously good stuff. I know you left a bunch of other stuff there, and I'm gonna be opening those up as well. Woo, boy, look at that. That is just some good stuff. Seriously, all that Ice King stuff. And I love that you use a Bic for size comparison, which is actually pretty cool because, well, you've been watching this channel long enough to know that my lungs and I are at war. And right now, I am winning. All right? Because I can still breathe. And I've dodged COVID this whole time. So, let's talk about a little bit of content creation. Okay? Yeah, let's talk about some content creation. Angrily engaging with the raging. Oh, man. I'm not raging today. This is actually some pretty cool stuff. What I will say... you're doing the Four Horsemen, huh? Are we talking apocalypse? For I am as far beyond mutants as they are beyond you. Or are we talking the horsemen are drawing nearer? Metal steeds they ride. Come to take your life. Hey, Neon, how's it going, man? I've been waiting for you to show up so that you can drop an invitation to the Discord because you're so great on that. You really are. You are just amazing at dropping the links to the Discord because God do I suck at it. Anyway, we're also going to be taking a look at something fun. Now, you guys know that I do all of the 3D printing and all that stuff, but I got a chance to talk to someone who is amazing at 3D printing yesterday on my way home from work. And I'm resin, he's FDM. And I've seen so much of his work, and I'm like, oh my God, how do you get your... And we talked about stuff, and we were like, oh man, yeah, there was so much of this stuff and leveling. And dude, you're still using those old FDM printers? I'm like, I'm not buying any new ones. I will take that time. And, we were just talking 3D printer to 3D printer at the friendly local gaming store for Back in the Deck, which is Guildhouse Games in Bellflower. Catch a bus. Zen, what's going on, man? Ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. But I bring that up because sometimes it is a lot easier to get, it's a lot easier to be given miniatures or to be given miniatures or to buy miniatures and all that stuff. Gonna get hot pot. Ooh, hot pot, nice. I'm almost always up for stuff like Korean barbecue too. That's my bag right there. Yeah. So, look at all that. All right, let me see if I can get this high lit. And copy and home and there. And so a friend of mine who has way more money than sense ended up giving me some of his older terrain pieces. And I said, yes, please, thank you. And how can I put this? Yes. I opened them up today. I opened them up today, and I was actually rather impressed with what I saw. And the thing that got me was, it's a lot smaller than I thought it was, but that's okay. That's okay, and I am not balking at free. Now, this particular thing from Corvus Belly is one of their scenery packs. And their scenery packs are pretty pricey. Okay, they're pretty pricey. In truth, I would probably just make it myself if I felt like buying, if I really felt like buying or if I really felt like searching cults and Thingiverse and Yegi and all that stuff to find the models. But I had them and I need them. So yeah, he ended up giving me this thing. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, all of those things. And dude, these things are tiny. They look good. They've got, in the words of a lot of modelers, they have great detail. But seriously, these things are small. Small, small. Let me see if I have one that I haven't shined up. Yeah, small, small, small. We'll take a closer look at them later. But one of the things that I've seen that I really, really like, okay, is as you guys know, I watch a lot of battle reports. And when I watch battle reports, I see them have loads of cool stuff. And I go, man, where can I get that cool stuff? And I find that cool stuff online. And then my great-grandfather manifests in my head saying, boy, buy it, build it, or just do without the damn thing. And I'm like, no, really, great-granddad. But one of the things that I saw online, okay, on battle reports, yes, I'm doing that kind of thing. I'm working it out, okay? I don't want you guys to see all the tools that I got going. Where are they? I don't even know what to call them. But they're sticks that I see a lot of people like on Play on Tabletop and Tabletop Tactics and other mini wargaming places. They use them a lot to denote deployment area. Let's see if I can find deployment area sticks. And I know that our normal days for crafting are Wednesdays, and I thought, you know what, I could do this on Wednesday, but I also kind of decided, you know what, I think I'll just make some today because they're super easy, and I mean that, super easy, barely an inconvenience. And yeah, here we go. Let's take a look at some of this stuff. I mean, we get so many of these things. Deployment zone markers that are like all over the place, and they're like laser cut and blah blah blah. Look at all that stuff. Look at how amazing they all are. And this is the thing. $25. All right, $25 for deployment things. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. They're laser cut. That's some expensive stuff, and they look like they're made out of hard plastic. So hard yellow plastic, laser cutting, which means you have to hire somebody that knows what they're doing, all that jazz. And again, I got my grandpa in my head. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about, especially about content creation, is a lot of this stuff is pretty easy and really inexpensive to do if you do it for yourself, but there's always that initial investment cost, okay? And this is a really big thing. I have been putting together a lot of content for the YouTube channel, the Patreon, and of course working stuff out for here on the Twitch channel. There's a lot. And as far as crafting and, doing a lot of the stuff that we do, I'm not gonna lie to y'all guys. It's a lot, okay? And I mean, it is seriously a lot. One of the biggest things, especially since I got into major shout out to Wylock's Armory, Bill and Jeremy at Black Magic Crafts, huge inspiration for me on this channel. I still watch a lot of their stuff, and I mean a lot of their stuff. And one of the things they talk about is graphics medium weight chipboard. Now I get the 12 by 12 sheets, all right, and we're talking a pack of 25 of them for $21, and that's important. Okay, that is really important to understand the cost on that, because if you're like me and not like a lot of other hobbyers, you don't have a lot of disposable income. So you got to spend the $20 for the chipboard, another $20 for cork, another $35 to $150 for paint, another $10 to $20 to $30 for brushes. I get all that. I definitely get all that. Not to mention the minis. Like, most of the savings that people talk about when it comes to creating anything and stuff, they're talking long term. As you guys know, I have a 3D printer garden. I'm not calling it a farm. I don't have that many. But of my 9 printers, we're talking 6 years in gathering them and working stupid jobs and going days without food. But I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of them when it comes to the amount of miniatures I have. I was on a friend of mine's, or I was watching, or in the chat of a friend of mine's live cast, and a new Warhammer player came out, and they're like, who's playing what armies? And I'm like, yeah, I've got orcs, and Necrons, and Custodes, and Space Marines, and Thousand Suns, and Tyranids. And he's like, dude, are you made out of money? I'm like, no, I'm made out of carbon. And I didn't want to say on her channel that, no, I 3D print everything. Everything I 3D print. But seriously speaking, a good 3D printer, you'll be coming out of the pocket about $250 to $600. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nice. Hang on here. How many cows do I need to simultaneously print until you call it a farm? Oh, cute. Now, I see 3D printer farms, and most of the farms I've seen have a minimum of 20 printers, and I'm almost at double digits myself. 4x8 sheet is 24. 12 by 12 still cost 15. Still got to cut. Yeah, still got to cut, and that's what we're doing. But if you guys follow Neon Arlecchino's invitation to our Discord, in the Discord, I made something for those of us who make terrain and like stuff, and that is, tell me it'll show up. I made this thing. Okay, this thing right here. It's not showing up all that well, so let's take it over to our work table. Okay, and what I made here, oh wait, let me just turn myself on. Hi. All right, and turn myself on here. Talk to you guys in the chat too. What I did was I made this for us. All right. Yeah, look at all that. So all you guys got to do is you got 2 options for this particular thing. Okay. You've got option 1. Grab some medium chipboard, order it off Amazon for $15 to $25. Okay, and some sticker paper. But if you ain't rolling that hard, you can just print it out. I set it in the Discord, in the general chat, as a PDF. All right, I put that out there and said, here guys, have some of this. I put some biohazard stickers on here, because honestly, a lot of people hate painting terrain, and I understand it. I really do. I get the hatred of it. I don't have it, but I get it. Like I said, I mean, yeah, check this out. I got all this stuff here, and I put it on shiny sticker paper, And if you have a ream of sticker paper and a few, and one of the packs of the medium chipboards, you can do a lot, especially with terrain. So I saw them sticks, and I said, you know what? I need some of those sticks. One, because if you're new to the channel, you might know that I play a lot of miniatures games, okay? And just to see if I can still do it, let's see here. We're talking Warhammer 40K. I learned Kill Team, but I'm not really down with Kill Team. But I play Grimdark Future Firefight, Age of Fantasy Skirmish, all from one-page rules. Marvel Crisis Protocol, Stargrave, Frostgrave, Rangers of Shadow Deep. I'm really trying to learn the Fallout game. I really am. Not to mention Zombicide, Fireteam Zero. I've got lots of board games and stuff that come with minis. And yeah, the terrain doesn't do the pew pew or the vroom vroom. It just sits there, so I can see how someone might feel like there's less payoff for painting terrain. It's true. It's really true. And Back in the Deck actually gets a lot of terrain pieces as donations. Not to mention, we like making stuff and crafting. This is actually a sci-fi building that I'm making because I have so much love for so many sci-fi games. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to do some of that. Not to mention for the DC Universe game, HeroClix, and I've made myself a measuring tool for HeroClix so that I can use it on general terrain instead of just the grids. Okay. Yeah, just loads and loads of games, and all of those games have deployment zones. So I need some of them sticks. Now, I would normally make them out of masonite, but unfortunately my table saw needs a new blade, so we're just gonna do straight up chipboard. And at first I thought, you know what? I should probably just paint it yellow because I got a can of yellow spray paint, and then tape it off and do all that. And I'm like, no, stickers are fine. Stickers are absolutely fine. I can live with stickers. So that's one of the things I'm going to talk to you guys about today. But there's another thing though. Let's head on over to the place. Well, first, let me run a commercial, and then we'll head back and we'll talk about some of this stuff. Okay? All right. I'm back in just a sec. Woohoo! And you know what, Mike? You are absolutely right. The curb has a lot of chipboard. Well, actually, the curbs out here where I live, I haven't seen them have a lot of chipboard, but I have seen them have a lot of cardboard. Oh my god, so much cardboard, so much almost as much cardboard as the Merkerberg, you know. And you know, having noticed that, it is something that I kind of want to pay some attention to. You know, that is definitely one of them things. You know, like a thing going on. But I put this stuff together because I've been in the very arduous process of putting together my living room for my second YouTube channel, which is playing music. And, all right, there we go. And, filming battle reports in there is a little better because the light is easier to control. Controlling light, you know. So, that is one of the things that I have decided, I decided, that I'm going to be dealing with. So, nah. So let's see here. Nope. Yeah, that's one. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Yep, 9 inches. This thing is 9 inches long, which is exactly how I wanted it. Let's see here. Kind of hedging my bets. You're making sci-fi terrain for my Night Lords, but making more of a fantasy set for my Thousand Suns. You know, honestly, it all works, man. It totally all works. And again, I thought about this because since I'm running Stargrave and 40K and of course all the OPR stuff, because you know me, I love my sci-fi. I figured I needed some hazard tape. You know, I needed some of the white and yellow stripes because, well, they're almost, and I mean this for real, they are practically universal terrain. And I like that a lot. You know, they go for so many places. All right, so let's head on in and make this stupidly easy. So, oh wait, hang on real quick. All right, so what I have here is I cut the thing to a square that's 9 inches by a little less than 9 inches. And I printed it so you can get 9 inches on a standard sheet of printer paper. All right, because, you know, printer paper is 8.5 by 11. So I made the stripes this way down the 11-inch side. All right, and I've decided that 3/4 of an inch is the size that I want. But before we do this, we are going to peel this and shove it on the chipboard. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Peel it, shove it on the chipboard. Shove it on the chipboard. Oi, oi, oi. Because a lot of people, like when they use sticker paper and stuff, they end up cutting out all the little pieces and then doing them one little bit at a time on things like chipboard. And it's like, yeah, no. no. That, you know what that sounds like? That doesn't just sound like work. That sounds like too much work. And too much work is not the way I roll. Okay. Now what's important is when you're doing squares, I tend to line them up here to try and make sure I'm square enough. What's really important is to make sure as little of the sticker paper touches the edge as possible. And now here is the key. You see what I'm doing? Rub down, rub down, rub down. I learned this from people that put tinting on windows. And, of course, scrapbookers. Because those folks is crazy. Okay? But this helps to make sure that you don't get a lot of bubbles. Now, I messed up because I have a little bit of white, but guess what? I'm happy with it. Close enough for government work. Okay? So now that we got this, we're going to take our little thing here because I suck at precise measurements. Okay? I don't know what it is, but every time I try and do like a straightish line, it's going to get bent. Okay? And what we're looking at on our side here is we want each strip to be about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, now why am I choosing 3/4 of an inch by 9? Well, it's quite simple. 3/4 of an inch is very easy to see. Okay, I thought about a 1/2 inch and it just seemed a little thin and wobbly. However, 3/4 of an inch, yeah, that worked really well. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go 3/4 of an inch. Ooh, boy, did I screw that pooch. So just to make sure that I'm not wasting too much, what we are going to do here is we're just going to cut out the most basic of the shapes, okay? Because, you know, I grew up poor and I don't like wasting materials, all right? And I will say, hazard stripes and stuff like this, can be very, very, very useful. Now you see how I'm doing 3 or 4 passes? That's just something that I've developed doing with this little Staples Office Depot cutting thing, because I still haven't cut all the way through. Okay? And that's perfectly fine. That is absolutely, positively fine if I don't cut all the way through. Because we can always go back there with a different kind of blade or a different blade. And yeah, so with that 8.5 though, we've got some leeway. And leeway is always a great thing to have. Now, since I didn't do it straight, I've got to make sure that my line here is straight. Oh. There we go. So, started a bit on a set that can be used for more of a modern or like World War II setting. Oh, yeah. Oh, you have space sharks too? You know, Zan, you're one of the best ones out there, but you scare me sometimes. You know, because it's like, yeah, and I play Chaos Marines, and my Chaos faction are the Night Lords. Yeah, because justice means torture. Okay, and now that we got that, we're just going to take, and you see, boom, we don't even have to do that much because we did so many passes. And that is going to serve us very well. Okay, we did so many passes and we scored so much of it so often. There. And see, I'm doing it 9 inches so that so when, not if, but when I decide to really put these things out there, okay, I can also use one of these for 9-inch movement or deep strike, you know. I don't know, but if you guys are anything like me, you watched a lot of Good Eats, and unitaskers are not the business. Okay? It's all about them multitasking. All about it. All about the multitask. There we go. Press and push. Press and push. Then press and pull. Press and push and press and pull. And now, we can go in with our thing. Now, this chipboard will make your little paper cutter really, really dull. But yeah, there we are. Now we have a stick. And this stick is super easy, super cool, super useful with the games that we choose to play. Okay? And I think out of this, I don't know how many I'm going to get. But, so now that you guys know what I'm doing and why my stuff looks so wacky, I'm going to get back to the regular thing. But why am I talking about this stuff? Well, one of the things that I'm planning on doing, or that I've actually started doing, because I've been planning on doing this for years, are instructional videos, not as much tutorials, as it were. What's the difference? Well, instruction is teaching you how to play. Tutorials are teaching you how to win. And I don't win very many games, but I do enjoy playing lots of games. And, yeah, because I don't, as you guys may know, I'm not big on the tournament circuit. LVO is happening right now. That's the 40K big tournament convention. I planned on going this year, but then I also didn't plan on having to raise and spend $12,000 last month. It hurt. Now I'm trying to raise $40 for another camera. Because that's how short I am. Again, donation right there in the chat. Anyway, one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of the content, and you guys have heard me talk about content before, but even when I was in film school, a lot of content, just a 30-second commercial can take up to a day and a half to film. An intro sequence can take up to a day and a half to film. And since it's just me trying to do all this stuff with the day job and the community outreach and so much of the other jazz that I'm into and trying to build the community and keep us going as a cohesive thing, it's a lot of work. And the reason I say this is a lot of folks out there want to start their own channels and produce their own content. And in the words of one of my favorite wacky singers from the 70s, it is a wild world. Okay, it is a wild world. I looked up, I've been doing this for 10 years and I'm still not making a living, which means I'm doing something wrong. But also I'm a middle-aged man, so... and the funnest part about being middle-aged is that you're no longer in school. The crap part about this is that since you're no longer in school, you can't keep up with what's relevant. If you don't believe me, ask your kids. Or spend an hour on TikTok and really try and understand anything they say. And I find that people my age come out two ways. And these kids nowadays. And, oh yeah, no, I'm totally down. I get you, fellow kids. What is up? Everything is on fleek. You know what I am saying? And I'm doing my best not to be that guy, but I'm that guy. I'm so that guy. So... but when it comes to making the content, I'm definitely trying to make the type of content that I wanted when I was up and coming or when I was young. Like, my music channel is really based on people at the beginning that just want to learn how to play and don't want to be rock stars. But that's a lot of editing, y'all. And that is the lion's share of most of the long-form content that you see is editing. So much editing. I was happy with myself yesterday because I did manage to edit a preview for one of the things that we're working on, but still there's a lot involved on that. And as I talked about in the beginning of today's show, the initial investments on the front end can be daunting. Okay? And this is literally me being super real with you guys. A lot of people are like, dude, what do you mean? Like, well, most of the stuff that I do, I record on my very good camera that I'm looking at you guys through, and on a series of cell phones. And not gonna lie, the iPhone 13 that I got, really, really, really cool. However, I don't have any friends who have any relatives that are going to be shuffling off this mortal coil soon, so I'm probably not getting another one. And this is where we get real in the show, all right? When it comes to painting or creating anything, I'm sure you guys notice my craft show is called Happy With It, because I have to remind myself, and in the process remind you guys, that it's really important for you guys to be happy with it. Be happy with what you make. So many people want to be amazing right out the gate. Okay? Me filming these battle reports has been a trial. Because, how can I put this? Who do I want to be like? Do I want to be play on tabletop and their amazing production value and cinematic flair with their sports stylings? You know, because yeah, watching something on Play on Tabletop is like watching a sporting event. From their from the top of their title sequence to the way that they hold the score, to the way that they Nick and Tycho have the announcers' voices, And don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of doing the announcers' voices. Here's how to order, Or do I want to be like Althenian with his solo play and his cutaways to the anthropomorphized characters that he's made out of his minis and what they would say and feel during the battles that he's filming, There's a lot of questions I have in regards to those things, And all of these decisions are decisions that I gotta make. They're mine to make. And them being mine to make, I hate making decisions. I truly and truly do. But yeah, it takes a lot. And what I try not to do is I try not to complain, because my day jobs are back-breaking labor. Literally, okay? If any of you guys have ever worked in a shipping warehouse or a foundry, or a metal finishing plant, then I mean exactly that. It is back-breaking labor. I get a phone call at work, and I could literally kill someone if I'm driving the forklift and I try and text while driving. I could drop 2 tons of material on top of someone, and it can get bad. By the way, we did it. Look at that. Yeah. And yeah, quite honestly, let's take a look here. And there we go. Really? Really? For real? Okay, there we go. Yeah. So yeah, let's take a look. And here, we got sticks. All right, this doesn't mean a lot, or it doesn't seem like it means a lot, but on a tabletop, we can easily say, you don't go past this area. This is where I start. Also, since they're about 9 inches long, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they're really good for deep strike. And again, the PDF I put down is, I put up the PDF for this in the Discord. It's absolutely free, guys. Head on over, get your own. And for this stuff, again, a lot of people like stuff like decals or decals, depending on where you live. I know Eons of Battle calls them decals. But the truth be told, these little guys, they are so good at going places. And look, yeah, that's my fingernail. All right, fingernail. And you can cut these out and put them on things like a building. Hey, look, it's a door. And then you can be like, biohazard, And there are so many things that you can do with these things for decoration. Like, if you don't want to put them on chipboard and just use them as stickers, where would you put a hazard sticker? Keep it clean. Yeah, I mean, seriously. Furniture on the curb has chipboard. It does. If it hasn't rained. So, a lot of this stuff is very cool. And the content that I've been putting together, I'm proud of for what it is. I know it can be better, but I'm not the best at what I do. I don't know who is the best at what I do, but there is the best at what I do, and they're out there, and hopefully one day they'll answer a phone call. Let's see here. Let us see what is going on. Now, all right. Now, I did get an email that I'd like to read. This person wrote a book. Let's see. There we go. Oh, all right. Well, yeah, this one is from Joseph Hines. And it goes thusly. Oh, wait, let me okay, cool. Yeah, doesn't show his email. Crunchy versus intuitive. What is right for your game? So this is actually a subject I've covered before. I went over crunchy versus intuitive, along with casual and competitive. But since it is a question, I know a lot of people who play games. Okay, I play games. I know people that play games, and I am firmly within the camp of intuitive. Okay, intuitive games they're my Jimmy Jams. They're the thing that I enjoy. They are what I like. They are what I choose to do. Primarily because how can I put this? I am an adult, okay? And I'm not saying that people that don't like intuitive games aren't adult. But when I say that I'm an adult, that means I have very, very limited time, very limited energy, and very few resources that I can dedicate to more than one hobby. I will get into that a little bit later in the show, but the pattern that I have seen most over my years of gaming have been the folks that really like crunchy stuff, and I mean crunchy. We're talking 40K crunchy. We're talking Pathfinder first edition crunchy. We are just talking nom 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 crunch. In my experience, the people that like that are the people who really, really play games as a primary means of entertainment. And by that I mean they don't tend to go to the movies. They don't go to very many parties unless the party has something to do with gaming. It's just not their bag. Okay? And I cast no judgment whatsoever. I really don't. Because the biggest fact of the matter for me is that there's a lot of things that I want to do, a lot of places I want to go, and a lot of activities that I really want to engage in that I don't really have time to do if I spend most of it taking notes on my Thousand Suns army or reworking my Space Marines. And that's a me thing. Okay, at the end of the day, that's a me thing. Not to mention, I like teaching games. Well, I have to like teaching games because I find that in my regular old average life, I find myself having to teach games to people quite often. And I'll get into that in a minute. And one thing I notice is that the older you get, the fewer people that you have in your life that have the, I'm not going to say capacity because that's not the right word, that have the inspiration to really learn. Okay, and that is, it's a true thing, it's a big thing, it's a real thing. Okay, and when I say inspiration to learn, I mean just that, y'all. I'm going to ask you a serious question. If you have a job that is either emotionally intensive or physically intensive, is your idea of fun after work going over to a friend's house and learning different mathematical proofs in order to go pew pew with little toys? I mean, seriously speaking, All right. Now, this is something, and I really don't want to piss people off, but I figure I'm probably gonna, because this is a take. All right. I'm not sure if it's a hot take, but it's definitely something I have observed over the years. Okay. And that is something that Param said. Param is the CEO of One Page Rules. People don't play complicated games, they talk about complicated games. And I came to think about it, and I remember back in my day when I was trying to play War Machine once every couple of weeks, I noticed that the people I was playing with, we would show up to the main house to play War Machine, and I would get there at 3, and we would actually start gaming at 7 or 8, because we spent that time talking about War Machine. And War Machine is not a complicated game. It is not very complex at all. However, the people that I played with had a tendency of making it complicated. Okay? By constantly questioning, just doing all of the tournament habits that I complain about so often and so fervently. And, when our gaming circle fell apart over it, part of it was because the game had changed. Okay, I'm not going to pretend that that was not a factor. But another really big part of it was we were having a very hard time bringing in new blood. Okay, just bringing in new people to play the game had become such a chore. Because most folks, and I mean regular old folks, not gamers, just most folks, especially the older you get, tend to come from the realm of Parker Brothers and Milton Bradley. You younger guys out there know it now as Hasbro. They come from the places of Monopoly and the Game of Life and Sorry. You know, simple games where you roll 2d6, you move a thing, and you say what happens. Now, board games have become a little more complex in the 21st century. We know that. Okay. However, there are no board games as complex as a game, be it a miniatures game or a tabletop role-playing game, but as a game where you get to create your own character. Think about it. And earlier this week, a friend of mine came over, and I tried to teach her Stargrave, and I broke my rule. Broke it. Broke. Okay? And what do I mean? Stargrave is a game where you create your own character. And I've told you guys before that when you try and teach someone a game where you have to create a character, like the Osprey games, be it Gaslands, Rangers of Shadow Deep, Frostgrave, Stargrave, it's just like a role-playing game. Meaning if they're brand new and they come to you to play, don't have them create a character. Okay? Have some pre-made characters ready. Because the character creation process for most games is never fast. Okay? And I forgot about this, and we ended up not playing because she was burnt out. She was like, this is not a game that I'm not up for playing this after work. And we still had fun. We played Splendor, and talked about stuff, and it was still a cool hang. But what I should have done was had a whole team. Hey, what's going on, Daryl? I should have had a whole team made. I should have just said, hey, yeah, that's it. That's what we got to do. Because with games like Gaslands, You know, you can create your own car and your own team, and you can customize them with all these different things. But with a new player, and this is directly involved with the intuitive versus crunch, with a new player, it's not like they're going to be like, I'm taking this thing, I'm taking this thing, I'm taking this thing, especially if they are under the ages of 50. Okay? Because let me tell you guys, one of the reasons I started this channel, okay? And just leave a thumbs up or a smile or a laugh icon in the chat if you know the person that plays the game thusly. The rules don't specifically say that I can't, therefore I'm going to play it like I can. You know, let me know. Let me know if you guys have had that gaming experience. Hell, let me know if you've done that before, you know? And what that does with people, especially with the last two generations, and this is not old man yelling at cloud, but people are more socially awkward if they were born after 1985. Okay, that's just what it is. All right. And one of the reasons that they're socially awkward is because so much in our culture, especially our Western culture, is what loophole can I use to take advantage of you? That's just the fact. Okay, that's yeah. See, all you guys, you know. Yep. I'm guessing, Mike, you've used that once or twice. That's why you're laughing so hard. So what happens in that particular situation is, since most people born after 1985 have dealt with that with gaming, they come in with a little bit of trauma. But I'm going to take it another step further, okay? If you were born after 1987, chances are that's how your job has been treating you. You know, the rules don't specifically state that I can't ask you for overtime. Actually, they do. They do. Actually, you know, you can ask me for overtime all day, but the rules specifically state that I can say no and you can't punish me for it. Well, see, I'm not punishing you. It's just we've given out a lot of hours right now, so I've had to cut back a lot of hours. Oh, okay. So you're using the rules to make me work for free. Because mandatory overtime is illegal in my state, but if you don't do the mandatory overtime, then you don't get your full hours. Or, you know, when the laws that got passed at work said if you work full time, they're required to give you benefits. So all of the job positions became part-time, and full-time starts at 32 hours a week. And so the part-time jobs ended up being 31 hours a week with an unpaid lunch. You see what I mean? And that is the world that a lot of folks grew up in. You know, need to fight rising. Yeah, I know. Take a breath. But see, that's the world that we live in. And this is something that we have to keep in mind when we come to teach people new things. You know, here is one of the big reasons. One of my favorite animals is the Australian box spider. And people look at me going, what the crap is wrong with you? You want a camel spider for a pet? You've got, you know, you want that particular. I'm like, yes. And the reason for this is the Australian box spider is supremely venomous. It is truly supremely venomous. Okay? It is an extremely venomous, and some scientists have said extremely aggressive. All right? However, one of the other things I noticed when I started studying the thing is that it's blind, and it knows that it lives in Australia. So when its spidey sense tingles, it turns around and bares its fangs. But I don't see it going, ah! I see it going, ah! You know? Because it lives in a world full of predators. So what does it do? When it feels something coming up behind it, it turns around and it pulls its gun. You know, that's what it does, because it's so freaked out and so scared because it knows where it is. And this is the way that I think that we should approach new gamers and new hobbyists. We have a super high expectation, but people have been nickeling and diming and loopholing and all these different things to win or to feel superior. Or as Zan said, people that are so competitive that the game is secondary and the competition is number one, you know. And I know a lot of GMs that try and run their games as though it's the GM versus the player. And most players have had more experiences with the people that do that versus the ones who enjoy the act of playing. Okay? Now, I went long-winded on that to say this. When you sit them down to a new game where they have to create a new character, they don't just pick a character class and pick out some skills. They read every single page of what the character class does, what it doesn't do, what it can't do. They weigh what they think it should be able to do versus rules as written. And then they do the same for every ability, every stat, every bonus. And that, my friends, is after work until it's time to go to bed. And no game has been played, only play preparation. And on that same note of play preparation, with a lot of crunchy games, 40K is one of the first ones that comes to mind, but D&D is up there too. Okay? Wow, yeah, so many thumbs up in that. When it comes to just pumping out something and playing, yeah, actually, you're absolutely right. Daryl says forcing a game to feel like a tourney can be exhausting. Absolutely. And a lot of people have what I call tournament trauma. And that is literally the condition that makes folks really, I don't want to say paranoid, okay, because it's not paranoia. It's real, honest to God trauma from unknowingly being dropped into a competitive environment. And that is super exhausting. Okay? And I mean that. I've seen it. I have seen it so many times under so many circumstances. It can be maddening. Okay? And I don't mean madden, I mean maddening. Okay? You know, when I see stuff, again, my old gaming group, and I was talking to the owner of the guild house about this, my old gaming group was stuck in the, well, the rules don't specifically say that I can't, mindset. And not only did they have that mindset, but they expected everyone else to, which is why we would argue over microns on whether or not something was in range, you know, where my rule of thumb is if you're not quite sure that you can make the charge, but you're within a half an inch, it's close enough, you know? Where a lot of people are like, no, I specifically set my thing to be half an inch out of the way so that I could be just on the edge. And I'm like, yeah, see, you're skirting that line between legal and lawful, and I don't like it. But that's how a lot of people roll. It's not how I roll, and it's not how I like us rolling here at Back in the Deck, okay? So when people sit down for new games, even if a game is super crunchy, if you want someone to play games with you, significant others maybe, it is super important, guys. Super duper important to make sure that the person you're wanting to play with you can actually feel safe. Okay? And I know a lot of folks are going to be like, oh, here you go with your liberal blah 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 safe spaces. No, I mean, some folks say safe, others say comfortable. It means the same thing, guys. If you don't trust the people that you're spending time with, then what the crap are you doing? And I know a lot of folks with a lot of gaming trauma, and they came about it honestly, I could talk about where Karens come from, but I'm going to put it in this context, okay? A lot of folks are forced to feel powerless and small at their jobs, in their families, and I'm not trying to get so real. No, come back. A lot of folks are forced to feel that way, and for the past 3 generations, most of the folks that gravitate toward role-playing games, miniature painting, model trains, essentially a lot of hobbies that are either done solo or require a lot of research, this is where we end up. And so, since I'm a little bit Pollyanna, I'll own that. I'm a little bit Pollyanna in the sense that I'm saying, hey, nerds of the world, unite. But a lot of nerds and geeks and all that stuff really want to be, content warning, because really potty mouth language is coming. Cover your ears in 3, 2, 1. Too many people out there think that the only way that they can matter is to be king shit of Turd Mountain, okay? And that ain't the real case. That ain't the business, Yeah, I know. Sorry, Neon. But it's sadly a truism that I've seen play out far too often. Too many people want to be the king of the dregs. I know way too many people who have how can I put this? Since we're already in content warning territory, one of the reasons that some of my friends can't get down with certain political ideologies is the term, why should I have to? Because that term is generally always brought up when it comes to helping people less fortunate. And it's a sad state of affairs, but it's a true state of affairs. And yeah, I mean, that's a really big thing, So the answer to that question is this. If you want people's company, you have to meet them closer to where they are than demanding that they do what they may not be capable of and meet you where you are, And I hate saying it, I hate thinking it, I hate that is the way of the world, but it is the way of the world, guys. And at the end of the day, and this is me being honest with y'all, the stuff that I want for people is all good. All good. I want everybody to have health care. I want everybody to have access to medicine and education and friends. I want everyone to have access to to the whole idea of friends. You know, I want us all to be able to call up one of our people on a Friday night and say, hey, you want to get together and play some Kill Team? Hey, you want to get together and roll some dice? Hey, you want to get together and, do some other stuff? That's my dream. Especially for the people that grew up not being able to afford this stuff. That's what I want for people. The grand enchilada of human interaction. Oh, you put up a new emote there. Let's see. Yes, access to friends. Real talk, I live 26 miles store. Okay? I'm dead serious. That is where I am, 26 miles away. And that is a lot of gas. That is a 60-mile turnaround, which means 2 gallons of gas. 2 gallons of gas per trip. Okay? Per trip. I want you guys to think about that. Every time I go to the game store and come back, that's 2 gallons of gas. And gas is coming down, but it's still about $4 a gallon, y'all. So that's $8 to $10 just to get there and come back. We're not talking about renting the table or buying the miniatures. Heaven forbid, eating. Like, I had one of the most glorious lunches I had ever yesterday because I was starving. And it was I believe it was a ramen, or one of the dehydrated ramen packs, but it wasn't ramen, but it was ramen, but it wasn't Nissan cup of noodles. It was something else. And it was that hot and spicy flavored. And I stopped off at Panda Express on my way to the gaming store because I wanted a protein to put inside this thing. And my go-to protein when I go to a Chinese food place is generally barbecue pork. That's me. I can't eat chicken, so I eat a lot of pork. The other white meat, but not baby. And turns out Panda Express didn't have it. I don't know if they don't carry it. I don't go to Panda Express that often. But I ended up paying $8. $8 for their honey walnut. It might have been yakisoba. No, it wasn't yakisoba because it wasn't yakisoba noodles. I forgot. But it's out there. But either way, I ended up paying $8 for a small takeout order of their walnut shrimp. Okay, and you know what? I put that walnut shrimp into this hot and spicy ramen concoction, and oh my God, it was glorious. I'm just like, and yeah, I use chopsticks a whole time. But literally, that was just for an order of shrimp. An order of shrimp, and yeah, madness. I know, and I only stop by my friendly local gaming store on days that I'm called into work because it's literally on my way home from work and it's across the street from a bank that I can deposit my pay into. So I get my pay and then I can stop by the gaming store, talk to those guys, and it turns out I left one of my gaming boards at the gaming store the last time I went. And, this is when I was talking to them. And yeah, I had the glorious lunch, but this was the first time. No, this was the second time. The second time this month I was able to go to the gaming store because I haven't had the gas. And that sucks. That sucks a lot. And I don't like that. And I don't want anyone else to have to go through it. Okay? But what I fear, and this is one of the reasons that we're here, is that with different levels of trauma and social anxiety and stuff that's happening, people are finding more and more reasons to not interact with each other. And again, I don't want to be old man yells at cloud. I'm going to be old man went to college and learned that humans are social animals. Okay? Keep in mind, y'all, solitary confinement is actually a war crime. It's actually against the Geneva Convention. Okay? And what I'm seeing is a lot more people looking for reasons to be just that, you know, and I get it. I totally get it. And this is one of the reasons that I push so many games so hard, because intuitive games give a lot of fun, give a lot of low cost interaction with other people, you know. And let's talk about the crunchy games. All right, let's seriously talk about the crunchy games. Yeah, I'm bringing up Warhammer 40K. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Now, when I was at the gaming store yesterday, I finally had a chance to play Warhammer 40K with someone, because the person he was waiting on canceled on him after he got there, and I didn't take my minis with me. Okay, because I don't like keeping my minis in the car. I'm in LA, y'all. And how I laughed at the weather report on my way into work, because they said highs today in the 60s. Like, highs today in the 60s in LA and Orange County. And I'm like, I'm in Orange County presently, and it's 71. And yes, yesterday was 71 degrees in January. So that's a really tough spot for me to leave my minis in the car, because they'll just bake. They'll just bake in the car. Will they pop? Will they warp? Will they? So I didn't put my minis in the car. I literally thought I was only going to the game store to pick up my board and leave. Yeah, but then I remembered I like talking to people. But when it comes to complicated games like 40K, like D&D, one of the reasons I'm not really big on crunchy systems is the ratio of preparation to execution. Okay, quite seriously. When I talk to 40K players, I talk to a lot of them, and maybe you guys can help me out, Mike or Zan, if you're still here, Zan. I don't know if you've gone out to get your hot pot yet. But if you guys actually play 40K, my question is, have you, one, how long have you been playing? And second, within that time, have you played games, or have you spent 70% of your time involved in that hobby? Not 70. Okay, so there's a lot in prepping for and playing the games, but given the time that you've read the codexes, read the rule books, studied the lore, and done the miniature assembly and painting, have you played the game for half as many hours as you spent doing all the other stuff? Have you spent a quarter of that? You know? And one of the things I've noticed, and again, this goes back to people don't play complicated games, they talk about them. What I've noticed is that most of the people I know that really like crunchy games is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, engage in games. Okay, yeah, we got Mike saying don't play. Zombicide and Shadows of Brimstone type of dude, right? You know, that's a whole lot of thing. And Zombicide, you can play, well, any of these games, you can play without having painted the minis, you know? And Zombicide is made to play. Painting is a bonus. That's the way I kind of look at most games, okay? But what I find is that most of the community, when they play competitively, they tend to play competitively because those seem to be the only platforms for them to play. But they do spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours painting their minis and getting them just right. And I'm like, do you play this game or do you collect the pieces? Either one is cool. I'm not casting judgment. But one of my big things is I don't want to collect things that I don't use. Okay? I love art, but I don't want to live in a museum. And that's just that's where I sit with it. So it's a thing. Oh, we've got Neon saying there's also a lack of environments where people aren't expected to spend money. That's true. Oh my God. Especially here in Southern California and in San Francisco and in New York. Our third spaces are kind of gone. I live across the street from a park, and it's even difficult to spend time in the park. Like, most of the open space that was in the park for fellowship, community, and hanging out has been separated and gated off to sporting events. So I don't think I know where the picnic area is in the park that I live across the street from. And in the cities that have those kinds of things, if I set up my stuff and start playing a game solo, I end up on the next door app. If you know, you know. So it can be a little daunting. Okay, it can be a little daunting. So yeah, but I find that intuitive games and short games, things like but intuitive games and quick games, there's a reason I keep a deck of Uno cards in my glove compartment, because I can sit at a coffee shop and play Uno. I can get a friend of mine together. We can go grab a cup of coffee and play Uno in the coffee shop. We can talk theory craft in the coffee shop. That is when I can pull my best friend out of his house. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff, but we've done some pretty cool stuff again. So just to sum up today's episode, because I got a couple of things to do, and I haven't run that many commercials, but this month I didn't qualify for enough to actually get paid by Twitch, so I'm stuck having to do other things for money. Let's see here. Oh, not a hoarder. I'm a collector, not a hoarder. Not a hoarder. I'm not casting any words, bro. I'm not casting any words. Again, a collector, a modeler, all that other stuff. Cool. Do what you do. And I don't get mad at people for hoarding. My mom was just on this side of hoarding, and I'm still going through her stuff and trying to get rid of it. I've given away so many sewing machines. But the thing is, we're grown-ups. What we spend our money on after our responsibilities are taken care of should be nobody's business. None. Okay? You want to buy all your plastic figures to go pew-pew? You do that. I personally don't. I don't want to be crowded out by stuff, because my mom was on just this side of being a hoarder, and growing up in a house where I couldn't touch anything because it belonged to someone else left me with a few scars. And a few issues. But yeah, so when it all comes down to that, when it comes to crafting, again, good enough. Okay, this is fine. It does its job. It doesn't have to be a major thing. Excuse me. Like I said, when I was growing up, there wasn't a Toys R Us within 15 miles of my house. Okay. I'm not sure if there is one now. I haven't looked, because I'm a 46-year-old man who's 6'4" and 200 and something pounds. So if I were to go into a Toys R Us, I would probably end up on the next door app. If you know, you know. But when all that stuff comes to it, okay, all right, cool. But when all that stuff comes down to it, I do my best. I do my absolute best to understand that when I was growing up, since there were no Hey, what's going on, Mike? Nerd Soul, NERDSOUL, coming at us with that Street Geek and Nerd Soul. Bro, I missed you. Where you been? Are you mad at me? All right, we're done with all that stuff. I grew up around a bunch of swap meets with bargain bin toys. Okay, like I said, I've said this on the show quite a few times. I did not have access to, say, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was growing up, but I did have access to Reptile Ninja Warriors, and you know what? I played with those like crazy. I'm like, Reptile, hey, look, it's Michelangelo. I don't care that I had to take my mom's fingernail polish and actually paint his stuff pink, or paint his stuff, paint his stuff orange, and all that stuff. Los Feliz Boulevard in LA. Yeah, see that's actually about 12 miles from where I am. So yeah, so. But that's a real thing, y'all. I grew up with that stuff. But children in the 80s were psychotic, sociopathic, and otherwise narcissistic monsters. So yeah, when I was growing up, it was like, man, that ain't Optimus Prime. That's mediocre Prime. You know, that's mediocre imaginary number. I don't know what you own. And that's just how it was. But I could play with my toys and have fun. No, I didn't have Silverhawks. I had Copper Owls. But a water gun was a water gun. Didn't care. Except for the Super Soaker 300. That was poorly designed. It had 2 tanks on the top and pump action for all that stuff. So yeah, not really a great toy for people under 25. Fantastic toy for their parents. Anyway. But when it comes to making your own stuff, especially when it comes to making your terrain or playing with your minis or even writing your fanfic and all that stuff, don't hold yourself to a standard beyond where you're at. Okay? I've been making stuff out of paper and cardboard my whole life, and none of it looks as good as I can get from a CNC milled mold that has a freaking injection molding system into it with the proper plastic pushed through a heated hopper. I don't have access to that stuff. I was thinking about building one. And when I was growing up, that was so much of a reason to be clowned, so much. Oh, look at you. You got to make your own toys out of paper. Yeah, fine. You know what? Ooh, look, your little crane can flap its wings. But you know what it can't do? Can't transform into a car, But I was fine with it when I was a kid, And I'm fine with it now because I can still play and go pew pew, and my giant bass player hands can have fun bashing my little toys together. I can be like, hey, what's going on, Mr. Mechanic Man? Oh, I don't know. I think I need your catalytic converter. Urgh. I can do all that all day. And yeah, I just got a little real, but I live in LA. That's just the price of living here. Anyway, and as far as like production stuff, look, guys, I said it, I got into arguments about it, but those of us that make content, video content, streaming content, making music, arts, craft, and all that stuff, real talk, we're the ones that need support. No, we are not as good as Critical Role. No, we are not as good as Warner or the Warner Brothers Corporation. I don't have Christopher Nolan, Zack Snyder, James Cameron, and Steven Spielberg on a call. I got some cell phones. I got some action figures, and it very much makes me sad. It very much makes me sad that we on the internet as a culture expect so much from people for free. When I was growing up, we had the radio. Okay, we had the radio. We had the radio and we had broadcast television. And people were saying, what, music should be free. I'm like, how is a musician supposed to eat? You know, are they supposed to work 18 hours at Home Depot and then play a whole concert? Like, seriously. And I say this all the time, and a lot of people have given me crap for it, but I'm like, the celebrities and stuff that y'all follow, they do need support, but you can split your attention between Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Metallica, and your favorite online content creator. Okay? It's only a couple of clicks to subscribe on YouTube. It's only a couple of clicks to share, you know? And we're real good about it when we're mad. But if you really like people's stuff, like there was this viral thing that was on my TikTok not long ago, saying, yeah, you know, people ask me all the time, when you gonna get famous? When you gonna be when you gonna be successful? When you gonna blow up? He's like, when y'all start sharing my stuff. You know, we've got this idea that people get big outside of us. And I want to let you guys know, like I always try and let you guys know, that your voice does matter. And I will tell you this, to small creators, especially on the internet, your voice matters way more to us than it does to Jay-Z. Way more to us than it matters to the billion-dollar you know, if you talk to Oprah on TikTok, she might notice you. You talk to me on TikTok or Instagram or here, oh, I will notice you. You see what I mean? And I know that in America we have this idea that the more successful and the richer you are, the better a person that you are. And that is demonstrably not true. I mean, seriously speaking, you can look at some of the most successful people in this country and be like, do I really want them around my kids? But one of the things that I will tell you, in all honesty, is that hang on, I gotta give my address to the person that's coming over. What I can tell you is that those of us that are up and coming, we not just need, but truly appreciate the support that you guys give. Every subscription matters. Everything counts. And the more people that actually do that, the more it drives us to do more. You know, because we're going, I don't want to let down Mike. I don't want to let down. I don't want to let down Sandra over there. I really don't want to let down Yannick. You know, I mean, that guy is 10 hours ahead of me with my schedule. So if he's staying up late to watch my show, I gotta put out good stuff because he should be asleep right now. You know, that's the stuff. That's what you get when it comes to the smaller creators on the come up. That's why it's so important. And if you're not going to do that for smaller creators, do it for yourself. You know, be kind to yourself when it comes to the stuff that you make and the content that you create. Don't let it. Have you guys ever noticed that the people that do their best to talk you out of being creative or doing what you love are the people that aren't doing what they love? Have you noticed that? I can't tell you how many people who hated their job, hated their lot in life, told me not to do this. You know, I grew up around a whole bunch of laborers who said entertainment is not a steady form of employment. And I'm going, you know, it's not a steady form of employment, but that's an interesting thing coming from you who tells time by what show is coming on TV. You know, so that's where I come from, and I've been like this since I was 9. So when it comes to making content, be cool to the creators that are out there. Um, no, I'm not going to start singing Journey. Thank you. Um, I'm more of a Styx guy anyway. I wanna be your blue collar man. But most of the people that have tried to tell me, and who definitely tell you guys not to invest in yourselves or do the things that make you happy, tend to be the people that are most unhappy. Where if you find happy people, especially happy elders, they're like, dude, do what you gonna do. Go ahead, makes you feel good, do it. Just don't hurt nobody in the process. In truth, that's the old man I'm working to be. But yeah, so when you guys are making stuff for your game, cardboard's fine. Does it do its job? Can you go pew pew? And the people that are like, it's ruining my immersion. I'm going, then practice with your imagination. Because, one of my favorite film reviews, or one of my favorite comments, came from Kevin Grievous. He's the writer of Blue Marvel, the writer-producer of... you too, man. You too, Citizen Splicer. Working on having a great weekend. I have a lot of work I have to do, and I might be taking on a new student tomorrow. But after Underworld had come out, someone had written on Twitter, man, that movie's not realistic. I can't believe that chick can use a sword. It breaks my immersion. And his reply was, you mean my imaginary story about a world where a vampire woman has to fight werewolves and fight other vampires you found unrealistic? Okay. No, honestly, Neon Arlecchino writes, I wonder how many people who complain about their immersion have no inner monologue. In truth, it's always been my experience that the people that complain about that have an exceedingly large internal monologue. And that monologue, the monologue that they have is a script that's been given to them by other unhappy people. The ones that talk about realism and fantasy, or say things like Tolkien didn't write any black dwarves. Well, you show me where the dwarves are written to be Irish. I mean that's literally the big thing. I find that most people nowadays have intrusive thoughts and internal monologues and internal dialogues that tell them that they can't do it, or it's not safe, or it's risky, or dangerous, or you'll die. And the truth is, I combat mine with 2 words, okay? 2 or 3 words, okay? 2 words, 3 words. 2 words, show me. 3 words, let's find out. However, I'm in a massive amount of therapy, which means I'm not all there. And I will own that. So the point that I'm getting to, and the point that I'm really trying to drive home to you guys, is make the stuff that you want to make. Head on over to our Discord and pick up the PDF. I would really love to see where you guys put hazard stripes. I think that would be really fun to see, okay? And I mean, if you guys are building terrain, if you guys have some models, if you guys do gunpla, hell, if you guys put them on a cake, head over, Neon, if you'll put up another invitation so that everyone has access to it, that would be great. Yeah, that would be so cool for me to see where you guys put your biohazard stickers or your radiation stickers and stuff like that. This stuff can be super fun if we let it, okay? But with that, guys, if y'all got any other questions, and as y'all see, I do like reading, I do enjoy reading, yeah, you guys know that I do enjoy reading the comments. Oh wait, there we go. Pull up your email and type in back in the deck at gmail.com. That's BACKINTHE DECK at gmail.com. Okay, also hit me up on social media, like my Twitter, that's my ex, and Instagram. If you're on the Clock app, do the Clock app things and all that stuff. I want you guys to have a really good weekend, all right? Play some games, have some fun, interact with some people, just do the thing, man. Do the thing. Have some fun. Go out there and live life and laugh at some stuff and see where it gets you, okay? But in the meantime, in between time, I am Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, telling you that if anyone tells you that you can't like what you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, neurodivergency, or your budget, you can let them know to take any of them cards and put them back in the deck. I'm Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thank you guys, and we will see you next week on the dark side of the room.